Hello everybody, so this is the second episode of Get to Know Essential Flow, and today I'm really excited and happy to be interviewing my sister from another mister, Suzi McHugh, who started a doTERRA business recently called Cypress and Serenity, and she's been just kind of growing and developing and learning about essential oils for the last, is it maybe a year, Suzi? A bit longer than that, maybe?
I would say about a year and a bit, yeah.
A year and a bit. So we're just going to have a chat. And I'll start us off by just asking you what your day looks like, what kind of things you like to do with your time. Do you have any hobbies or interests that you'd want to share with the group?
Yeah, God, I mean, over the past, I know it's been quite a tempestuous year anyways. I'm just waiting for the flying locusts to come now, do you know what I mean? Off how the year's been, but I did recently, so I worked in retail and I've had so many different jobs. And it was kind of just like the bog standard, go and work for kind of somebody else kind of job. But now I've kind of taken the creative leap and I'm building up working for myself basically, incorporating the oils into that. But essentially kind of building a grounded business using resources that are already there, are already being that are ready to be kind of recycled, reused, reloved. And it's really kind of work that's really kind of coming from soul work. It's been one, as you know, it's been one hell of a ride for me to get here. So I mean, day to day at the minute, I've turned my back room at home. I'm not actually at home at the moment. I'm back in Newcastle visiting family. But yeah, so my home is Lancashire now, and I live in a little terraced house in on the outskirts of Boston, which is beautiful because it has so many different natural resources and stuff like that, which is something I also kind of want to tap into to kind of what I want to grow with the business as well. So yeah, I've turned my back room into a workshop. So my day kind of looks like tinkering in my workshop, making loads of different stuff like coat racks and signs. I'm upcycling a 3-foot alien called Alan, turning him into a drink sweeter. Yeah, and pretty much. Oh, he's awesome. I'll send you a picture when he's done. Yeah, and chilling out with me dog, and fundamentally as well, for me, my personal journey is really, really kind of tapping into my spirituality, absolutely massively. Which is pretty much what a lot of my day is, meditating. I'm being called to do a lot of body work, so yoga and stuff like that, which I'm going to start getting into when I get back home from Newcastle. Yeah. I got rid of all the TVs in my house, so I've been learning to play the drums and reading and listening to vinyl and stuff like that. I feel I sound really pretentious, but I'm not. It's literally it's literally kind of where I've kind of just been led, and it's honestly being led and guided to. The very downside of that is you lose touch with a lot of what you thought was important, and it's not. Sometimes that can be very, very lonely, and sometimes the solitude can just be just something that you just absolutely crave. But what's really, really interesting is, as we've discussed before as well, is when you do that, your soul tribe actually starts coming in. It might take a while, but then, you know, the people that you're kind of meant to kind of interact with, you know, kind of like bit like on like a bit of a higher frequency, do come in. So yeah, just in answer to your question, which could have been said in like 3 words, is like most of my days spent in the workshop making shit, basically, and playing with oils.
Oh, it sounds amazing, and I think it's a lot deeper than just tinkering about in a workshop playing with oils. Like, it sounds to me like there's been a huge transition for you recently, and it sounds like you're really starting to just step into this sense of being who you are as opposed to who you thought you needed to be. And I think there is that element of ungroundedness when you're going through that, because all of the things that we think keep us grounded as human beings, the things that we think we should be doing, they do just lose their importance, and we lose a sense of needing to do a lot of the everyday stuff that we maybe thought we used to, in just following that sense of kind of soulful wisdom and just allowing that sense of doing what you want to do to guide you through your day. And it sounds to me like that's what you're stepping into now, and that's what you're really embracing, which is absolutely wonderful, because in my mind, that's how we should be living anyway as human beings. You know, we should be following our intuition and doing the things that we feel guided to do, and living life in alignment with who we are as individuals. And totally relate to what you say about that being quite isolating, because sometimes that in itself can cause us to lose connections with people when you're kind of no longer willing to deny who you are in order to keep relationships in your life. It can definitely like change the way that your life looks, but it sounds like it's for the better anyway. And I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds great.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it is like in the bigger picture, and it's definitely about, you know, what you said about, you know, up until this point, over the past 2 weeks, like had some amazing downloads from the universe, and like some amazing realizations about things and where I need to go in terms of like doing part of my soul contract with the universe, which is basically like fulfilling the work of service that I have to do, like in this life kind of thing, because the spiritual life is a life of service, you know, the service to others, not the ego, I should say. And you know, I was up there, and just what you said about being grounded, like I was shot up there. And I think another reason why I feel like crap today is like I've came back down with a bang, which is difficult, you know, but I know it's kind of the right thing to do. I mean, the way I see it is it's just like it's like ebbs and flows. That's what it is. You know, you have the nice, you know, you have the ebbs, but then what you need to do, and you have the ebbs, and you know, I'm back home visiting family, which is lovely, is absolutely lovely. But a lot of my family like live very 3D, like very 3D. I'm used to being in my own space now. You know, because I've been doing a lot of soul work and spirit work, like my chakras are wide open, so like I absorb a lot more energy and stuff like that. And I'm obviously like staying with family and stuff, and I'm in other people's energy that doesn't do soul work, kind of, well, consciously do kind of like energy work and stuff like that. So I think that's like quite heavy for me now, which is, it's painful in many realities, because it's kind of like, you know, I really should like be connecting more with my family here, and I'm just not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not. And that's like another kind of like yin to the yang, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But it's okay. I'll find a way. It doesn't mean in the slightest that I do not love my family, because I absolutely adore my family, and I'm so truly blessed and grateful to have the family that I have, you know. And the way I have to say it is, it's just expanding me capacity for unconditional love and kindness and acceptance, you know. And it's all part of the process. You've just got to trust the process.
Absolutely.
Even though my ego will be like, no, that's it, you need to cut everybody out your life. And live on that hill by yourself as a witch for the rest of your life. And it's just like, and it's just like, no, this is another thing, like, about like unconditional love and kindness. You don't just automatically start being unconditionally loving and kind. You have to be put in those situations where you have to practice it. And for me, one of the true aspects of unconditional love is literally acceptance.
Yeah.
It's not why this, it's not why that, it just is. It just is.
Yeah.
Just is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can totally relate to reintegrating relationships when you've gone through those inner transformations and you see things differently. Because I think we get used to relating to people around us in certain ways. You develop a rapport, and you get used to kind of the frequency with which you relate to different individuals. But then as you go through these inner transformations, the way that you see the world changes, the way that you experience your relationships changes. But the person that you're interacting with, whoever it is, friends, family, colleagues, strangers even, the way that you relate, your way of seeing things changed, but their way of seeing things may not have changed, and they might be expecting you to relate to them in the same way that you've always related to them, but actually you just can't do that anymore. And it's almost like the two of you have to come back into balance with one another, and there is that period of integration where you start to just show up differently, and other people have to kind of get used to that, and it can take time for that to just settle in. So I totally relate to that, and I absolutely think that when you're on the right path, because you're willing to kind of tolerate that discomfort, because you know that it's right, even though it feels uncomfortable for a period of time while you're kind of reassessing your life and reassessing your relationships and things are changing. It's almost like you're comfortable with the discomfort because you know that it's something positive that's supporting your growth and development.
Definitely. And actually, to kind of, we'll tie this into doTERRA a little bit, to kind of tie that, the way the oils kind of work and have worked actually is like the oils have almost kind of been a bit of a bridge to, me like friends who I've known from times gone by, and me family, because I'm like, oh, check out this oil, check out that oil. I've brought some oils with us to my sister. I've got like deep blue on my neck, so I've got a trapped nerve in my neck, which isn't helping things at all. I've got like the Melaleuca on my face because my skin's like really bad. Because I've got OCD, like I compulsively pick my skin, especially when I'm like a bit so my skin's been really bad with that, and I just thought, fuck it, just let's put some fucking wild orange in there and see what the fuck happens. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's fucking go on a doTERRA trip, yeah. So I've put some like wild orange on, which the dog seems to absolutely love because she's just like trying to lick it off all the time. And I'm like, dude, stay away. But it's been kind of nice to like share that with like, you know, my sister, and I'm going to take them over to my grandma's and my mum's and say, you know, try this, try that kind of thing. And I think, you know, the oils in that sense are actually quite a nice bridge because of the holisticism, is that even a word? We'll say holistic nature. Because of the holistic nature, because of the holistic nature of the oils, then it kind of can pave way for me to express my spirituality a little bit more. Because what I have found is that I kind of like get these major downloads, and then I'll go up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and then it kind of goes down, like the ebbing and the flowing. But like the next like download, I go a bit higher up, and there's only so much. Like, I mean, my family already think I'm having another mental breakdown, anyways, which is fine. But there's like only so much spirituality people can kind of connect with before it just becomes like, what the fuck are you talking about kind of thing, you know. And that's like, it's about my sponsor said that to her. She was like, you know, there's certain parts of spirituality, Susie, that people just aren't going to get, and actually people kind of like really snap back at. They kind of don't, there's a part of that ego that doesn't want to hear it. And she was like, there's those parts of like spiritual conversation that are really sacred just for people that are on like the same part of the path as you are. And I didn't get it at first because like a year ago I was just like, yes, everyone needs to know this fucking information and realization that I've been getting. And it's just like, no. Absolutely not.
I can completely understand that, and it is about just judging when it's appropriate to have conversations with people and just feeling into where they're at. And I'm so glad that you brought it back to the oils, because I did want to kind of ask you what it was that attracted you to doTERRA, because that's how you and I got to know each other, that's how you and I connected, and I am so absolutely grateful endlessly that we had an opportunity to connect and that doTERRA kind of provided that pathway for us. So I would love to know what it was that attracted you to wanting to use doTERRA oils, or how you heard about them and how you came to use them, and kind of, just what it is. Well, you've kind of talked a little bit about what you like about them and how they kind of work as a bit of a spiritual medium for you. But I'd love to know a little bit about how you were introduced to them and how you started using them.
Fucking fasten your seatbelt then, Shaneen, and let's go.
Right. Let's go.
So basically, which I'm very, very open talking about, and I've spoken many times with you about, I think it was, so I'm in recovery from alcoholism and drugs, but it was very much more alcoholism for me. I had a much better relationship with drugs, which really says a lot for my alcoholism. So it was it was early recovery, because I was 22 months sober on the 21st of this month. So yeah, absolutely mental. And it was really early recovery, and it was so strange. I was on Facebook, and because I had to go on the sick at the job I was in at the time in early recovery, because I couldn't, I really, really couldn't cope. The multitude of all my mental health issues that I had like drowned out with alcohol were just all coming out. I wasn't medicated. I'm medicated now. and I had to take some time out, and I was looking into more holistic ways of living anyways, because it's, you know, it's really interesting. A lot of people who are in recovery are living a life of sobriety and did live a life of literally filling their body with like shit. You kind of go the opposite. You're like kind of a bit more careful about what you want to put into your body, and you know, there's a real emotive attachments to that, because you know, I have to put my sobriety before everything now. I have to put sobriety before my own family, because if I don't put my sobriety first, then I can't, you know, I can't function in this time and place, this part of the universe. I just can't do it. And I can't be the daughter, the granddaughter, the sister, the niece that, you know, I really, really have to be, you know, and should be. So yeah, and I remember I was like kind of exploring it on Facebook, and then I liked this post, and the lovely Alison, who I love very, very much, I think she's absolutely awesome, sent me this message, because I had liked a post, and this message had ended up in my filtered messages, which I never ever check. And this one day just kind of like checked, and it was like, oh, if you want to find out kind of more about doTERRA and stuff like that, let me know. And then yeah, like I connected with Alison on Zoom, and we just kind of like clicked like that. And I didn't say anything about my recovery at the time. But yeah, we just clicked, and I was, you know, kind of like on the peripheral, or like kind of like exploring my spirituality and stuff. Because like I do like a 12-step program that got me sober, and I have a sponsor and stuff, and that's very spiritually based. And we just, you know, the way I say it, it's just kind of like divine timing. Do you know what I mean? It was universe just kind of saying, right, okay, this is kind of like taking it on the path that you're going on. And yeah, we hit it off, and I thought, fuck it, I'll just take a chance with it. If, you know, the fact that I didn't have to pay anything monthly, I didn't have to hit any targets, you know, I could do it at my own pace. That was me. It was like doing it in my own pace, in my own time, nothing controlling us, you know, giving me that freedom to do it. And I thought, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So that kind of like got me into it. And then Alison being very perceptive, so that put me on your team, because so that there was like potentially a slim chance that we might get on. So and it's kind of just it kind of just went from there. Yeah. And I've, you know, for me, there was literally just no rush for it, and there still isn't any rush for it. I don't really do much like of the marketing side, to be perfectly honest. I'm really, I love the education side of it. Like, let people research about what the oils are all about. You know, let them go and find, you know, put that out there, and then let them do the research. And this is like another thing, as much as I'm like, and we were talking about it because we've got a lot of earth in our star charts, which is like very like logical, rational thinking, grounding and all that. And that's what I kind of really like about that side of it is I love the spiritual stuff, but I really love the scientific stuff as well, because science and spirituality essentially are the same thing. Yeah. You know, once you like really look at it, and you know, that really inquisitive mind of mine, which I've gotten back now, thank you, another beautiful gift of sobriety, is, you know, I love reading and I love finding out about stuff. And to be honest, that does a lot of the work for you. You just put that kind of like educational stuff out there, and people kind of like come to it, oh, I fancy trying this or I fancy trying that. You know, I've been experimenting putting the oils in candles and stuff, and you know, like putting them in the diffusers and stuff like that. And for me, and then again, just like kind of passing that information on as well, you know. And it's like, in that sense, I don't have to make any claims about things, because I don't. I just say this like really worked well for me. I really don't get onto the medical side of things either. I keep it really, really scientific. You know, this is what it does to your body at a cellular level, and it's been scientifically proven. I'm not a doctor, you know, apart from Dr. Love, but we'll not get into that. That's another conversation for another time. You know, I'm not a doctor. Not a holistic practitioner. Not an aromatherapist. I'm not a counsellor. You know, I'm just me who uses some fucking oils and gets some nice results from them. You know, who's really interested in the scientific side of it. And that kind of really works for me, massively works for me. You know, and I've like recently started like building like my own like little eBay shop, where I think I'm then going to kind of market the oils, not in the bidding process, but as a kind of buy it now thing. Market the oils, and incorporate them in the gift set, so you can get the oil, a candle, and fucking a 3-foot alien. Do you know what I mean? As a gift set. And that's what I love about that side of like doTERRA, is like you've got that platform for that creativity. If you kind of go down that route. I didn't go down the business route. I don't really want to go down the business route. I know what it is, and you know, I know there was it's like is it multi-level marketing or something like that, which is always like quite controversial and stuff, but it's just like at the end of the day as well, because I was reading up on that documentary where it was kind of like well mentioned and stuff, and like what's really helped me anyways is like not only like am I like a fucking recovering fucking hippie, you know what I mean, spiritual donut, like I'm also like I'm very anti-capitalist, and I always have been, do you know what I mean? And when I was at uni I was like, you know, Marxist and all that. I've calmed down on that now, but it's back to acceptance though. It's like, well, we live in a capitalist society, so as holistic as any venture is going to be, if you want to make a living out of it, you have to, if you want to make a living out of it, if you want to make a success, if you want to make a substantial profit out of it, then you have to build a business model in order for it to work within a capitalist society, in order to it to work economically in a capitalist society. Then you have to build it on a certain model, you know, and whether it's a fucking pyramid scheme, which I know being banned now, multi-level marketing, whatever, you know, it is what it is, you know. And doTERRA is still a business, you know, so you are going to have to kind of work off those models and stuff, which is why I never kind of got myself wrapped up into that. I was really kind of grateful that doTERRA recognised that if they give people a lot more freedom, they created a platform for kind of like creativity in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's about knowing your margins and your limits as well, you know, and that's another thing. I didn't get me doctor head on. I didn't get, oh, this will cure that and this will cure this. It's just like, no, this is deep blue and this is what it does to your body on the inside once it goes through your skin at a cellular level. Make of it what you will, you know, and that's worked for me. And in a sense, I think it's really encapsulated the masculine and the feminine energy of like creating my brand and that product, you know, the feminine being the creativity, you know, the kind of like holistic side of it and what it's done for me and how it's emotionally connected to my journey, but masculine in the sense of the very scientific, you know, informative research part of the product. And again, that kind of like for anyone starting out, the balance of those energies I think is very, very important.
Yeah.
So if you are going to go like mainstream marketing, which is more the masculine side, marketing, profit margin, this is what we want to be making at such and such point, this is what we want to be making at such and such point, then don't start. I would recommend don't then start on the medical doctory side of it. I would really get some more feminine energy into it to really, really kind of get some like really creative stuff around that model.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds amazing, and I absolutely adore your approach because it comes from such an authentic place, and I just love the way that you see the opportunity to just create something for yourself, and I think that's definitely what doTERRA offers. It's like everything's on the table, this is what we do, and then you as an individual have the choice to then create what you want to create with that.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and I absolutely love that sense of just doing it in a way that feels good to you, being creative with it, because that's so, with anything that you do, that is so important, and especially in business, because I think that business can be so fucking dry, like so just dry, like figures and stuff doesn't sit with my kind of soulful, creative, feminine essence. You know, thinking about money and economics, it jars me.
Yeah.
So I think definitely one of the things that I really enjoy about this business is that you can take or leave that as much as what you want to, and really it's really, for me, like, it's more just about finding a sense of who I am and then growing and developing in alignment with that, rather than with any perceived ideas about what I should and shouldn't be doing. And I love
definitely
yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, that Emily Wright, one of the founders of doTERRA, like, she refers to the kind of community of wellness advocates like a forest, and I just think that creates such a wonderful visual, because you think about forests in nature, it's like you know, there's all kinds of different forms of life existing. You know, it's not just all trees and they're all doing the same thing and they're all growing in the same way. You know, there's flowers and moss and streams and earth and mud, and you know, there's just it just encapsulates anything that you want it to be, and you can just grow and develop in your own way. So
definitely, and I think for me, because if I went on the business model, right, my ego would just be all over that shit, right? Honestly, I'd think I was fucking Alan Sugar. Do you know what I mean? I'd
money in the bank,
dollar, money. I'd be skinned with no oils, covered in gold chains, fur, with a fucking fake cocktail on floating on a flamingo in a swimming pool, going, I don't know where my money's gone. I don't know what's happened. You know? Oh. yeah, waiter. And that's not me, and people like me, like, because money is just like another fucking addiction for me. It burns a hole in my pocket. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't go down that route, and the fact that I can completely let go of that, I'm just like, it's not. It really isn't like a monetary motivation for me. It's been such a slow burner, and I'm saying it because, you know, if there's anyone listening to this where they just think, fucking hell, is this ever going to get off the ground, like, shift your focus, try shifting your perspective, let go in that sense, because it's been such a slow burner for me. I mean, it took me ages to move up a rank, and I've only moved up one rank. And that was when I stopped thinking about it as well. I was just like, fucking go with the flow, try something else, try something a little different, you know, kind of let go of this and let go of that, and you know, it's kind of just flowed that way. And for some people, you know, they've used business models and the money's came flooding in. And, you know, the way I see it is like the river flows differently at so many different points across, you know, down the stream. It really, really does. You know, it can be fast, very, very fast at the top where there's been a lot of rainfall and a lot of groundwater coming in. But like 5 miles down, it can just be like trickling down. But it's happily trickling down, and it's, you know, gonna go exactly to where the water that's like come crashing down is going as well. It's all getting to like the estuary where it eventually goes out to the sea. You know, where for me, there was like no definite rush. And I think when I did like start, you know, if I did start pinning, you know, I have to do this with it and I have to do that, it just becomes all about my ego, and then becomes all about my ego, which I've got a really poorly ego, hence why I'm a recovering alcoholic, you know, and that then starts constraining into like, I can't fail, I have to be best at this, you know, like that real kind of perfectionist. And for me, I just lose myself, and it's just, you know, stuff like that, especially when it's like money and stuff. It then becomes me picking up a drink but not drinking alcohol. Do you know what I mean? It's another part of my ism, and it's such a fine balance. Like the oils and doTERRA have been so healing for me because I've just like took me time and just went with it, you know. Just went with it. And, you know, for anybody who feels like they're struggling, if you enjoy it and it feels right, just go with it. If you're not enjoying it, it doesn't feel right, and you think, it's only my fucking signed up in the first place, then you know what I mean, maybe it's not for you. But there's absolutely no rush.
Yeah. It's just like, I loved what you said about losing yourself to something, because I think that this is one of the things that I always advocate, is like your primary relationship is the one that you have with yourself, and nothing is ever worth losing yourself for, like nothing. And if it requires you to lose yourself for it, then fuck it off, like it's not worth it, because ultimately it's you and you to the end. You know, other things, other people, money, cars, houses will flow in and out, but ultimately when you get to that kind of final moment of your life, it's you and life. You know, that has to be your kind of primary core centre, and everything else can come from that. And yeah, absolutely. I think if you recognise within yourself that there's a potential for you to lose that connection with who you are to something else, then yeah, it's not worth it.
Definitely. And to kind of tie in with the use of the oils on like a practical level, like, and it's about good relationships, it's about having balanced relationships, and it's exactly the same with like the oils. Like if you use too many drops of an oil without enough carrier oil, then you can kind of do damage to yourself. If you use the right amount of carrier oil and the right amount of, you know, essential oil, then it's going to work for you. And it's about like having that healthy relationship with it, and you know, like, and it's about, you know something's right when they just kind of like freely incorporate themselves kind of like in and out, like your daily kind of like living. Like today I was just like, my neck's really sore, right, we'll put a bit of deep blue on it, you know, my skin's a bit bad, right, we'll trying to get like the melaleuca out and stuff. And that's like, it's almost like a metaphor for like the holistic nature of the oils in terms of like in your life, because to me it represents what the oils do is it is for me, I've never seen the oils as like a cure. I've never seen the oils as something that like, you know, is an ultimate healing authority. I've seen the oils that help guide and ease me through life when I'm feeling just a little bit off.
Yeah.
You know, and if I didn't have the oils, it would just feel that little bit shittier. Whereas when I've got the oil, it's just that little bit nicer. Because my favourite oil is the Melaleuca through and through. I absolutely adore it. It works wonders on my skin. And what I love about the Melaleuca is, especially if I've been a bit stressed and I've picked the skin on my face, which I do, and I do it like impulsively, so I don't even know. I do it half the time, and then when I do it, and after I've done it, like my face can be covered in blood, and then I'm going to have like scabs and stuff, which take ages to heal. But with the Melaleuca, they heal that little bit faster. So I know they heal that little bit faster. I know my face is going to look that little bit better, and my anxiety goes down that little bit more. So when I know I've got to go out tomorrow, I know they're not going to be as red. My face and the scabs on my face aren't going to be as red as they would be if I just put some regular moisturiser on. And for me, that is the pinnacle of what the essential oil does.
Yeah.
You know,
little cushions, just little support that can just help you to go through whatever you're going through, and they just support the body in such a natural and beautiful way. And that you've absolutely nailed it. Like, they're not miracle cures, they're not going to save your life. They can just give you comfort and support, and just support the healing of your body in such a lovely way. And
definitely.
I was gonna ask you what your favourite oils to use are. So I'm glad you spoke about Melaleuca, because it is such a wonderful oil. But are there any other oils that you just really enjoy using and that you find really beneficial for you?
Yeah. So the deep blue, oh, definitely. I've got like hyperextended joints, as you can see. Yeah, look at that. Like, it's great. Wow. So I've got like really hyperextended joints, and it's like in me wrists, me arms, me hips, and me knees. I've already had one operation on my knee because like I had like a massive cyst on my meniscus, which was like the size of a golf ball. And when they looked at my knees,
is it your kneecap?
No, your meniscus is like this. It's almost like a type of tendon that's on the side of your knee.
Okay.
And it's from like a lot of like movement and exercise, and it kind of gets triggered from that. But I get like really, really stiff knees, and like, so most upright and stand still, you have a slight bend in your leg. Whereas when I stand up, the back of my legs like that.
Right.
Like, they just ping back, and what that does is it's basically like when you've got a hyperextended joints, because I can dislocate my hip as well, which used to be an ace party trick. I remember my mum used to say it'll not go back in one day, you know. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Rest me cuppa on it. I'd be like, oh, but what it essentially is people like, so have kind of like this fluid, and this like bonding fluid that like keeps like the joints like supple together like that, whereas I have kind of like a bit more of that fluid in the like the tendons and stuff are a lot more stretchy, so my joints are like very, very loose, which isn't a good thing, because if someone was to just come up to my arm and do that, it would break a lot easier than other people. So when I'm on my feet a lot, I get tennis elbow a lot as well. Like, me joints get really, really achy, and like the older I get, you know, now I've went on down to 30s town, they do ache a lot more. I can't use ibuprofen based gels because I've got asthma, and they get absorbed in the skin, and they can affect me out. They can like irritate the walls of my lungs, I think. and I can't take ibuprofen, paracetamol, because I'm in recovery, like, just does nothing for me. And I can't, like, obviously I can't take painkillers like tramadol and things like that, which obviously are only prescribed as well. So I was just like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I tried Deep Blue, and I tried it in the ball of me foot as well, because it's really sore, and it was just like ace. Obviously it didn't like completely take the pain away, but it just totally just relaxed all the muscle and stuff around it, around the joint, and the joint like just stopped the throbbing, and it was just like so relaxing. It was so nice. Like, Deep Blue's amazing. It really is. So there's that. I've just started with the wild orange. That's lovely, and I'm going to start experimenting with that in candles and stuff, because the scent is just like so crisp and fresh. It really is, and it's nice for a perfume actually. With a bit of carrier oil. So that's good. And I really like the frankincense. I love the frankincense. I only use a little bit of it every so often, but it really hides like dark rings under my eyes and stuff. That's really good. And what was the other one I was going to say? Oh, lavender. I absolutely adore the lavender. And the reason why I adore the lavender is I put it in shampoo and it really thickens your hair.
Really?
Yeah, it actually, for me, it does. It like, and I read up, like, it says it on the doTERRA website, but I kind of got other sources as well, and it like, basically the oil, I think it just like kind of plumps out like the proteins in your hair and stuff. It just gives them that extra zumph, and just put some like shampoo, a nice type of shampoo, and I put like 2 drops in, because you have to be careful, because if you put too much in, then it'll make your hair greasy. But just put it in the shampoo, massage it into your hair. And what's also really nice is an added bonus is like with the hot shower and the lavender, massaging it into your hair, and the scent and the smell of it is like really relaxing. Puts a lovely shine on your hair, and it really helps thicken it. Yeah.
I knew that frankincense was good for the skin, but I've never thought to use it under my eyes, so I think that's one that I'm going to try. I don't think I need my hair anymore than it already is.
I love it. Yeah, I just, on the frankincense, I'm just going to say it, like, don't put it like too far, like, just stick it like round there. Give it a try around there, like, don't make the mistake I did with like coconut oil when it starts seeping into like your kind of like eyelids and stuff. I tell you what I also done. Have you used oregano oil?
I have, yeah. So I use oregano oil for a few different things. I like to use it on the calluses on the bottom of my feet, because I get really hard skin like on the balls of my feet. So I use it on that, and it helps to just soften it up. And I tend to use it if I'm getting a little bit ill, because I've read and seen videos that it can help to boost your immunity as well if you're like suffering from viral infections. So if I can feel that like I'm coming down with something, I tend to take it just to give my immune system a bit of a boost.
Yeah. Well, I used it like topically on me skin, and I used it a couple of times, but I learnt the hard way the first time, because oregano oil is very, very strong. And I put it on a cut, but I didn't put enough carrier oil like with the oregano, and put it on. I was like, Jesus wept. It burns if you don't like put enough carrier on it. It burns. And then I was laughing, because I was like, I wonder how many other people in the doTERRA community have learnt the hard way with oregano, because I was like, fuck me, we'll not be doing that again.
Well, I think one of the things I try to do, like when I'm doing my class, because there's there's only so much information you can give people, isn't there? And it often depends on how much a person can take in at that time and whether it registers. So I tend to, when I'm doing classes with people or consultations, I tend to mention oregano needs a carrier, and I also tend to mention about citrus oils being photosensitive as well. But yeah, I imagine that if there are people who've probably gone to classes or heard that information, but it's just not registered, and they've put oregano neat on the skin.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And it's not just that. I think, like, you know, if you've got like a really like curious inner child, like, who loves to kind of just go out there and, like, you know, inquisitive nature about stuff, and is like, ooh, let's try this with this and that with that. I totally blame the inner child for that one, because it was just like, oh, kind of thing. I think that doesn't help, because you just like, fuck the class, I'm doing it my way. You know what I mean? Which I do not recommend, by the way. I do not recommend. But that's isn't that like the beauty of the oils as well? That it invokes that passion. You know, it invokes that passion to think, right, you know, where can we use them? How can we use them? Like, you know, and that's another beautiful thing.
Definitely, it's definitely awakened me to just the versatility of them, and looking for different ways to use them and finding different ways of using them in the house. Yeah, and that's one of the things that's lovely about them, and they're so intuitive as well. Like, your body can, I think once you get a feel for them, your body can kind of sense which ones it needs and which ones it wants. And, you know, sometimes now I'll just go to my oils box and I'll just be like, right, which ones do I want to use today? And I'll just have like really lovely intimate moments with myself where I just pick the oils that I really want to kind of put on my body. And that you can have some wonderful like personal experiences with them, definitely. And it does kind of help to awaken that creative, inquisitive, like, just creative self.
Definitely, and it really, really kind of, I think, takes you really, really back to an instinctual nature as well. Like, it takes you right back, and I love, I've really been getting into this recently. I was like, I love going out in thunderstorm weather and hurricane-esque like winds and rains and stuff. The energy outside's absolutely beautiful, and when you start connecting with the energy of Mother Nature, it's just like insane. And I went out the other day, like when it was like really bad rain, wind, no one was out, which was amazing. So I was like walking up this hill next to mine, and it's a really like old area where I live. And I was walking up this hill and I thought to myself, God, like how many of like my ancestors and generations gone by have had to trudge up this hill in really heavy wind and rain, like to get like home, if they've been getting water or, you know, medicines from the witch doctor or something like that, you know. And it like really, the oils and stuff and that curiosity really taps into that for me. Like when my ancestors were like going around the woodland or the rainforest or the jungles or across the deserts, like going, oh, I wonder what this does and I wonder what that does. And, you know, it's a really beautiful thing. And I think the instinctual nature of that is absolutely amazing, that, you know, even though we live in 2020, you know, that deeply spiritual, instinctive nature is just completely lived on, you know, throughout ancestral generations. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and again, that's completely reflected in the oils. Also, like, big shout out to all the people who like ate poisonous plants and didn't know they were poisonous, but because they ate them and like talked it, we know like which ones to use and which not. I think they like massively need a shout out, because if it wasn't for them, you know. And I can imagine like some of our ancestors going, well, I tell you what, if you try the berry first, you who's gonna eat it first? We'll go together. Oh, see, I knew it was poisonous. You know.
Yeah, I can imagine those kinds of things playing out in the past where, yeah, just like funny stories. I bet there's an infinite number of them, weren't they? Like personal interactions between our ancestors and
definitely.
And I just love what you say about how like we never lose that sense of being able to explore nature and of being inquisitive, and how there's still so much more to explore as well. Like, it's beautiful. So I think, I mean, that's everything that I wanted to ask you. And thank you so much for just being so open and beautiful and sharing your experiences. I absolutely appreciate it. I appreciate you. I think you're an absolute star. And no matter what happens, like, I feel like I'm just always going to be like trying to be a part of your life in some way. So
I'm just not convinced. If you like, I'll be walking past a park bench, there'll be like a newspaper, like all cut out, like.
All
there
right.
she is. I'm like, hey Shaneen, you alright? I'm fucking see you. No, but you're absolutely you're absolutely welcome. It's my pleasure, and I feel exactly the same. We're definitely from the same soul tribe. And it was interesting because I was talking like to my sponsor not long ago, and you definitely a teacher who's come into my life. You're definitely a teacher for me. You say things that where I question, you give a spin on things, but you'll not always agree with things that I say, but you'll give a spin on it where I think about it. You're not, you don't aggressively go into debate about things. You like to speak and interact and question and learn, and I'll say things to you and you'll go, God, I didn't think of it that way. And I love a relationship where, like, I think I'm a teacher to you in a bit of a way, and you're a teacher to me, and I'm a student and you're a student, and I just I absolutely love it. It's what it's all about, and we don't have to necessarily agree on everything, but that's the great part of like discussion, isn't it? It's just like it's absolutely beautiful, and one day we will meet and have a brew.
Absolutely, with biscuits.
Obviously with biscuits.
Oh well, thank you so much for coming on and for doing the interview. I really appreciate it. And
not a problem, Shaneen. Anytime.
Awesome. Thank you, love.
No worries. I'll catch you later. Bye.